Today, I will be showing you one of the best boss damage builds in the game. I'll just show you first, and then you can see for yourself. We'll just shoot till the quivers out. There we go. So you can peak about like 9.1, 9.2 if you hit like all your crits, maybe even 9.3. You can tell if I hit a crit because the shot will be like 8.9 or like 9k. If I hit a crit, if I don't hit a crit, it'll be closer to like 6. But yeah, so the DPS, it slowed down a bit, or it went down a bit because I guess inactivity. But it was about like 6.5 to 6.8, and then like I said, it peaks around 9 for your first 10 bolts. And 135k total damage in 18 seconds. So, I mean, you do the math on that one. The way that this build works is similar to Leviathan's Breath Quiver. When you cast the Mobius Quiver super, it increases the damage of the super itself, but also bow weapons. Bow weapons includes crossbows, not just normal bows. However, the crossbow interaction with Quiver was actually nerfed recently, so it used to be crossbows get 150% increased damage. Now they only get 75%, so it basically cut it by half. But as you can see, that doesn't really matter. The damage is still pretty incredible, especially that kind of burst DPS. And the total damage is practically infinite. As long as you can pick up your bolts, you have infinite ammo. So obviously the DPS will slow down after the first 18 seconds. Your quiver will run out. But you see, just shooting the boss here, let's get surges. Keep in mind we don't have any debuff here. No consistent debuff outside of the initial like quiver application. But just with surges, no debuff, no radiant. You see we're doing 3,165 a crit. So as long as you can pick up your bolts, you'll still maintain great damage. You can basically add radiant to this as well. Right. Missed the bullet there. But that's kind of the whole idea. So a couple things about this build. Firstly, for it to do more damage than the Levy's Breath version, you do have to have high ground. So the reason why I was standing on this tablet here, so you see I can proc high ground. High ground is a 25% damage buff that stacks with everything. So it's very, very strong. The second thing is the Spire 4-piece set. You may have seen this already floating around, but with this build, it's incredible. In fact, I would say it's probably the best with this build because there's not really many other weapon rotations where you can actually have 100% uptime on this buff from the Spire set on every single shot. This build is literally perfect for that because you're constantly swapping weapons. If you don't know what it does, every time you draw a weapon for 3 seconds, you get 7% increase precision damage. Every time you just ready a weapon, or you swap to it basically. And then it goes away. So most rotations, maybe you'll be able to get a couple shots, but you might be shooting the gun for a little bit longer than those 3 seconds. You see in this rotation, because you're constantly swapping between your second weapon and your crossbow, you see we constantly have high, noon, up. So we always have that 7% buff on every single one of our shots as long as it's a crit. When you add that with high ground, that's another 25%. And then finally, as you saw in the beginning, the setup is what really makes this build shine as well. And kind of brings it all together to be insane for damage. And that is actually the hierarchy of needs. So you see, I actually set it up myself. You can do it all yourself. You don't need a teammate to help you with this, which is why I really like it. But you can, and if you do, you'll do even more damage because you want to do a loadout swap. You'll do a little bit more DPS specifically. Um, Very simple. If a teammate, like let's say your warlock or whatever, or whoever, let's say they're not running an exotic um, already, like an exotic heavy, like Truth or something. If they're running a energy primary, so primary in the second slot, just ask them to put on a hierarchy real quick, right before damage. They don't even have to run it the whole time. And all you have to do is you just need to get either 3 headshots on mobs or just 3 kills. Doesn't matter, either or. You stack up a guidance ring, and then right as damage starts, they just need to hit fire, put out a ring, and that's it. And then you can just shoot through it with your crossbow. So ideally, every time you shoot through this guidance ring with a bow, you see it puts out seekers, and these seekers actually do quite a bit of damage. They also apply Scorch, so that means that you get ignitions as well. So when you're doing that rapidly, you'll see that I was getting ignitions, I don't know, maybe every 4 to 5 shots, plus the Scorch, plus the Seeker damage, it all adds up. And then when you add the precision damage from the Spire set and 25% from high ground, it ends up being pretty fucking good for burst DPS. And like I said, total damage, as long as you can pick up your bolts, the total damage is infinite. DPS goes down, but most of your DPS is going to come in that first 18-second window, and then from there you can kind of just coast. Just keep shooting bolts. As long as you have the precision damage from Spire set, you'll still do good damage even without high ground. With high ground, you're going to be doing pretty much the same or better than most other options. Um, and yeah, that's going to be it. But the build, this variant of the build, at least with this setup, I haven't really seen. People have been talking about Levy's Breath. People talk about Prismatic Hunter. I think this numerically, I think is also just the best as well. But don't quote me on that. But certainly, I think it's one of the most fun, and it's definitely, if not the best, on par for sure. So.